Star Wars is one of the biggest franchises in the world. It has fans of all ages and caters to a wide and varied audience. There are multiple movies, TV series, and of course, video games. Fun fact, did you know there are over 100 video games based on Star Wars? And out of these, only 3 of them have been a MMORPG. Some of you might be wondering, 3? Well, let me assure you, there was Star Wars Galaxies, which has been shut down, Star Wars The Old Republic, which is still going, and of course, Star Wars Clone Wars Adventures, which also got shut down. So it's safe to say we are long overdue a new Star Wars MMO. And would you believe it, there have been rumours circulating of one being made. So are the rumours true? Can we expect another Star Wars MMO? Or is it the usual PR horseshit? So stick around as we look into Star Wars and what exactly is being developed. Oh, and get this video to 1069 likes and I'll call my firstborn child Grogu. So let's cover off what we know so far about Star Wars and the games under development. It's worth noting that EA's exclusive contract with Lucasfilms might finally be coming to an end. Signed back in 2013, it made EA the exclusive publisher for Star Wars related games, and as we can see from the last 10 years, they really haven't done much with it. 6 titles in 10 years would be impressive if it was an independent studio, but when you consider the powerhouse that EA actually is, you kind of expect more from them. They also had 4 other projects in development which were just cancelled. With the end of the EA exclusiveness to Star Wars comes a new hope in gaming. In total, there are 7 games which have been announced and are officially in development. However, some of them are no more than a title or just a description. It's worth noting as well that none of these seem to be a MMO. It was announced that Amy Hennig will be creating a Star Wars title. She was behind other successful games such as Jak and Daxter and Uncharted. She was also part of the cancelled development which was Ragtag, which was a Star Wars heist sort of game, which personally I think would have been really interesting to see. With the success of Fallen Order and Jedi Survivors, Respawn has been tasked with 2 additional developments which are a untitled FPS and an untitled strategy game. Back in December, we got this awesome trailer for Star Wars Eclipse, which is another standalone story. To quote their website, discover Star Wars Eclipse, a new action-adventure, multiple character branching narrative game set in the High Republic era, presented to you by Quantic Dream and Lucasfilm Games, now in early development. Out of the titles listed, this is one of the most promising ones simply because it actually does have a trailer. Okay, maybe that's not fair, because Knights of the Old Republic does have a trailer, it's just not a very good one.
They must be stopped.
So yeah, that's basically the entirety of that trailer, and also with a thing at the bottom saying this is not game footage. Star Wars Hunters is a Nintendo Switch game, so let's just not even talk about that one. Which then just leaves us with one more title from our list, and that is of course the Ubisoft title, which is a open world Star Wars game. Ubisoft are well known for such games like Assassin's Creed, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, Far Cry, and a little known game called The Division. And I do want to circle back round to this Ubisoft title because I think there's some very interesting elements about it. But in regards to officially announced Star Wars games, that is the entirety of the games that are in development as it stands as of today. However, there is obviously that one title which has been rumoured and has been floating about for some time, and that is of course the Mandalorian MMO. It's no secret that Zenimax Studios has been working on a new MMO. They have somewhat of a successful MMO in The Elder Scrolls Online, and they've been working on this new project for about 3 or 4 years. They haven't officially announced what this title is, but they have been quoted as saying, "We're creating a new IP," which, depending on how you want to interpret this quote, is Star Wars a new IP? Is The Mandalorian a new IP? I don't think so. There were two sources which supposedly leaked the fact that Zenimax were doing a Mandalorian MMO, but how much can you trust these leaks? I'm not too sure. But probably one of the most compelling sources of evidence was the fact that Colin Campbell, who's worked on previous Star Wars titles, has been hired by Zenimax. This by no means guarantees that it's a Star Wars game. I mean, hell, I think one of the developers who worked on New World actually used to work for THQ, who do wrestling games. The silver lining is that if it is Zenimax who are working on this new Mandalorian MMO, they are using a new game engine, so it won't look as scuffed as The Elder Scrolls Online. But hey, while I'm here, let's add to the rumours. A year ago, on The Elder Scrolls Online, they released this armour, which has a very Mando feel about it.
Stop! You violated the law. Pay the court a fine or serve your sentence.
Imagine it is Zenimax, and that was the one piece of evidence which exposed it all. But in all seriousness, I generally don't think it is Zenimax Studio working on this title, and I think what's actually happened here is that the Ubisoft title that's being created has somehow been mixed up with this Zenimax Studio title. When we look at Zenimax Studio's previous work, the closest title they have to a Star Wars-like game is probably Fallout 76, which is basically where they took Fallout 4 and tried to add multiplayer to it, and some would argue not so successfully. But if we look at Ubisoft with The Division, which is a third-person shooter MMORPG style of game, it has a closer resemblance to something which could turn into a Mandalorian game. The Mandalorians are known for their utilities, their weapons, and of course their jetpacks, which The Division boasts 2 out of 3 of these items. So logically speaking, let's break this down. It's been confirmed that Ubisoft Massive are working on an open-world Star Wars game. Ubisoft, who has a history in first-person shooters, third-person shooters, and open-world RPGs, just look at Assassin's Creed. And then we have Zenimax Studio, who are known for one MMO in particular, which is The Elder Scrolls Online, a game literally about Dungeons and Dragons. And yet, they are the ones rumoured to be doing the Mandalorian MMO. It's not unusual for studios under Microsoft to keep a very close lid on what they're working on. I mean, look at Fable 4. We haven't had an update in almost 3 years now. But I do feel like if Zenimax was working on a Star Wars title, they would have been shouting it from the rooftops, especially considering they're trying to employ people to come work on their new AAA IP. Don't get me wrong, stranger things have happened, but there's also been rumours and leaks which were just completely wrong. The Xbox showcase is coming up very soon, and obviously Zenimax being purchased by Microsoft means that if they are going to showcase something, maybe this will be when they do it. If not, we do have the game rewards towards the end of the year. Personally speaking, I'm not too bothered who produces a Star Wars MMO as long as one gets done and it gets done well. What do you guys think? Do you care for a new Star Wars MMO? Maybe you're still happy with Star Wars The Old Republic? Let me know what you guys think, and hell, if you have any rumours that I forgot to mention, chuck them in, I'd love to hear them. And on that bombshell, I'll end the video. As always, if you've liked what you've seen, leave a like. If you want to see more of me, subscribe, and I'll leave a couple of videos on the screen right now, which you might enjoy. Bye bye for now.